Another day passes as we inch towards the release of Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave. Let's dig in to what's new. Hello, Deep Freeze here. And today we finally have more news regarding the latest entry in the Fire Emblem series, Fortune's Weave. Thankfully, it hasn't been that long since... Oh. But rejoice, for we can finally sink our teeth into a ton of new information as we wait for that sweet, sweet release day. I'm gonna cut straight to the chase because did they ever drop a bombshell on us in more ways than one? You see, the joke is she's hot. From the beginning of this new trailer, we get confirmation on the setting of this title. It will indeed be Dagda, located much further south of Fodlan than I thought it would be. We also get a map detailing locations outside of Dagda and their capital Dagshan, where the heroic games will take place, with the Kingdom of Arago, Kingdom of Brezerant, and even further south of that, the homeland of Theodora, the Kingdom of Saramis. It's awesome getting to see the scope of the world become even larger, and from some of the scenes coming up later in the trailer, it seems there will be plenty of variety and interesting locations to explore. With brand new art, we get a much better look at our four protagonists, as it does seem to confirm this being another route-focused Fire Emblem game for better or worse. I have to say Kai's and Lita's art really endeared me to the designs a lot more, while Dietrich and Theodora look even more striking in 2D. All around, I'm loving the art style for this game a ton so far. Next, they showcase small story portions of each route, with Kai having the striking red eyes instead of his usual hazel ones. It's much too soon to say, but I have a sneaking suspicion it has something to do with this odd crest stone embedded in his hand. Maybe it was forcibly implanted or even gifted to him to help him with his mission of winning the heroic games. Hopefully it won't backfire on him in the end. We also see a very interesting character to his right with pointed ears. It seems she's a Nabatean or Manakete or whatever they might be called in this game, and she bears a resemblance to the Divine Sovereign. Perhaps his daughter, or maybe a priestess in his employ? It actually speaks volumes that she's able to walk around without much issues, as historically Manaketes in Fire Emblem have either been in hiding for most of their lives, or forced to hide their identities when it comes to dealing with public appearances. Really looking forward to seeing what's up with her. Behind her seems to be an armor knight of some kind, maybe her bodyguard. And of course the glasses girl from the first trailer returns with a new orange-haired character in tow. They all appear to be childhood friends of Kai. Next, we focused on Lita talking about how she's going to choke the life out of a guy named Lechner. Number 1. Lechner. Number 2, I kind of like how rage-filled she is. The face she's making here is pretty serious. I knew her entire route's premise was revenge, but if she's this blunt and upfront about her goals, Lita's side might be growing on me. We see two characters, a blonde girl and an orange-haired girl, and honestly, I don't have much to say on them. But these guys make quite the first impression. Lita might be traveling with a troupe of bards and dancers, and I really like the idea of a group of showy, seemingly carefree performers going on a mission to assassinate a man. Here we get confirmation on Dietrich's Fodlan heritage, and he describes his relic weapon, the Answerer, as a blade to smite the gods. Before I had a theory he was here to hunt crest bearers, but now that description is making me think he could be here to slay Dagda's myriad gods. In the beginning of the trailer, it did mention how Dagda has been ruled by the gods.
This is the Dagdan Empire, a prosperous land ruled by the gods.
Could they be referring to the Manaketes? Will we see another Red Canyon massacre? Lastly, we see Theodora with a few brigand-looking characters stating how she's about to mete out punishment for the death of her father. She's lacking the ornamental headdress we usually see her sporting, so this could be right before she's crowned the new ruler of her kingdom at the very beginning of the game. We also see how the portraits of Fortune's Weave will utilize live 2D to give unique animations and expressions for the characters. Honestly, I really hate this. It looks like an uncanny VTuber just started her stream in the middle of my tactical RPG. But I am pretty open-minded. Maybe I just need time to get used to it. Lastly, we see this super badass looking mask character. I love this guy's design. He looks to be an adversary of Theodora and potentially a recurring one, as we get to see him again in this screenshot here. He's blinged out with earrings, face paint, and this strange gauntlet that looks like he's holding an entire galaxy. I love how Saramis has all these South African design elements to their attire, and I really hope there will be more characters from there we can recruit. After looking over this image a second time, I just realized she also has the crest of Gautier? So, what the fuck? That's something. We get to the real meat of the trailer here, being the actual gameplay of Fortune's Weave. It's just 3 houses again. What'd you expect? There are some cool things to parse through here, though. Firstly, we have free time between the major matches, similar to the way chapters were handled in 3 houses, but instead of a hard cutoff date, it seems you must clear challenges in a certain amount of turns. Now, whether these turns are determined through actual turns on a map or by activities you perform in the base, or maybe even a combination of both, it's all a bit vague. I'm hoping it's the latter, as it'll force you to not only think about how much preparation you can get done before the map starts properly, but also how quickly you can clear it before time is up. We see a lot of familiar facilities such as the training grounds to gain more weapon experience. It looks like it'll cost motivation as well as gold this time. Also, just wanted to mention how the song that plays during this section seems to be a take on Together We Ride. This soundtrack is going to be amazing.
Hone your techniques at the training grounds.
I'm figuring it out.
Recruit new allies. Or travel beyond Daxian's walls to gain experience.
Character recruitment looks to be the same as 3 houses, most likely through having the appropriate weapon ranks or having a certain support level. This does scare me a bit, as I really did not enjoy the way 3 houses handled unit distribution. If each route has a set amount of units and everyone else is just extra fodder for more supports or adjutants, that's going to be a bummer. There's a character named Nine here, and she's a mannequin, but I just can't prove it. This next portion with the world map truly terrifies me. It's centered in Dagshan, but it looks like we can choose to travel to almost anywhere across the continent. There's a ton of little icons showing fish, vegetables, gold, and maybe even weapons. It's a little hard to spot, but there are definitely people hovering over certain areas as well. It looks like during our free time we can explore to gather resources or maybe even encounter skirmishes, not dissimilar from games like Gaiden, Sacred Stones, and Awakening. Potentially we'll be using those precious turns to venture out, and the further we go, the more turns we spend. Again, just my hopeful thinking. We also see Lita explore an actual dungeon for a bit, with what I'm assuming is your total army's HP, magic, and LP? Not too sure what that might be. So we've got a world map and explorable dungeons similar to Fire Emblem Echoes. Only time will tell how imperative these excursions will actually be. Also, we get a sneak peek down here to witness a confirmed time period for this game. It's set in 1449, which should mean this is a sequel to 3 Houses, considering the conflict in that game took place between 1180 and 85. However, it was never confirmed if this calendar is using the imperial year from 3 Houses, especially since months aren't named Great Tree Moon, Harpstring Moon, etc. I was team prequel, but then I was team sequel. Honestly, I just don't know anymore, and there's a bit of information at the end of this video that throws me for even more of a loop. All I'll say is, Fortune's Weave is a successor title to 3 Houses in many, many ways. We get a few more scenes of combat here, and I wanted to give extra attention to the elephant in the room. This girl Ursula is just straight up related to Marianne, crest of the beast, blue hair, everything. And I think I love her. And there's an actual elephant. We get a peek at how she can access the convoy from her command menu, and unless she's a more important character than we first assumed, every unit has convoy access. I'm curious how that'll affect the way maps are approached, since effectively you don't even need to prepare for combat, when every weapon can be stored and accessed on different units. The combat preview now highlights the turn order of battle, which could be immensely helpful if turn-altering skills like Vantage get a rework. When we get a shot of Sirocco, one of the bards from Letta's group, attacking here. For a very brief moment, you can see a heart appearing above Letta's icon. Is it symbolizing her support with Sirocco is in effect? Or maybe it's another mechanic we haven't been able to hear about yet. Then we get to see some blaze arts in effect by the main characters. The animations look awesome. It is interesting we get to see moving shadow on Dietrich in action. Its first showcase wasn't nearly as flashy. Or maybe it was them showing the move with extra animations turned off. While I might not be the biggest on Kai at the moment, I will say his blaze art definitely seems the strongest from what we can see here. And there's a zebra! Okay, this next portion I have no idea what to make of quite yet. There's yet another Manakete character holding what looks like a baby, spouting about bringing the advent of the underworld. We see lots of zombified soldiers, monsters, and what look like freaking titans walking through this gate of the undead. Then a character whom Sothis refers to as the Promised One swoops down to save the day. This character looks to be the avatar unit of Fortune's Weave, which is quite strange to showcase after all this time. Maybe they won't have a lead role to play? From the collector's edition of Fortune's Weave, we can discern the name of the avatar is Eshmel, a Hebrew word for God hears. And in this instance, it might fit perfectly as they have this ethereal, angelic appearance, whose duty appears to be the salvation of lost souls. At first, I thought this was Shez or Arvel or Epimenides, given the striking white appearance and alien look the Agarthans are known for. But why would Sothis call on an Agarthan for help when they've been historically on opposing sides? Eshmel has me extremely curious, and for the first time, I might be looking forward to seeing what the Avatar unit is all about. To cap off this trailer, we hear Sothis speak to yet another unknown party, talking like this mystery person has already committed some kind of disaster.
How did it feel to upheave the world? Begone from us, the darkest dark.
The phrase darkest dark for some reason brings the idea of Zaharos to mind. The spell Solon used in Three Houses and Epimenides in Hopes to banish characters to a void of nothingness. Does this have any relation? At the end, we finally get a release date for Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, September 17th of this year. It's coming out much sooner than I thought it would, and I'm glad it's still coming out this year. And that wraps up the general overview of the newest Fortune's Weave trailer, but I still have a few theories and miscellaneous info to cover before the end. Namely, the identity of Eshmel, as we might have already gotten a look at them years before this game entered development. Shout out to Twitter user Galatea989 for bringing up the striking similarities between Ishmael and the pagan statue, featured in Three Houses' DLC, Cindered Shadows. Not only are they both hooded figures with angelic wings, but a Three Hopes conversation between Happy and Shamir even name drops it as Dagda's god of fate.
Don't worry about it. So that pagan statue, it's actually of a Dagdan deity.
No kidding. You're from Dagda, right?
Yes. I think it was the god of fate. I always wondered how it ended up there.
No clue. It's probably been there forever. You know, I remember there was this one foreigner who prayed to it all the time. Like, really prayed. She must have been from Dagda too.
Most likely. It will have to remain a mystery for now.
Coincidence? Most likely. But it would be neat if this did answer one of the many mysteries that still lie in Three Houses' lore. Through the collector's edition of the North American description, we get a rather huge statement that time travel will be included in this story. I highly doubt it will be on a small scale like the Divine Pulse mechanic, but rather a centralizing plot point that will tie all the routes together to work with Ishmael. I'm really hoping I'm wrong though, as time travel will always be a messy beast to handle when it comes to storytelling. To end off this pretty huge news roundup, I've saved the best information for last. Anna is in the game! Okay, that was a lot more than I was expecting to cover in one sitting, but hey, after almost an entire year, the Fortune's Weave release cycle is now in full swing, and I couldn't be more excited to see what this game has up its sleeve. Subscribe, I'll be covering news and updates on this game until release, and let me know which aspects of Fortune's Weave have gotten you the most hyped. Only 98 days until release. For now, I'll have to say, peace out.